Hello, welcome to McDoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through each of the standalone battles in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. In this episode, the battle continues at Assenois. The Americans are attacking, the Germans defending. On the US side is an American armoured battle group from Combat Command Able of the 4th Armoured Division under command of General Gaffey. It moves fast and reserves are full. 1st Platoon is Armour, 2nd Platoon is Infantry, and 3rd Platoon is Recon and Support. I have renamed each of the squads. Now let's review each of the squads. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters. 1-2 is an M4A3E2 jumbo tank. 1-3 is also a jumbo tank. 1-4 is also a jumbo tank. 1-5 is an M36 GMC 90mm. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 2-2 is a BAR squad. 2-3 is a BAR squad. 2-4 is an M9 bazooka team. 2-5 is a 50 caliber heavy machine gun. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters. 3-2 is an M24 Chaffee light tank. 3-3 is also an M24 Chaffee light tank. 3-4 is an M3 heavy machine gun half-track. And 3-5 is an M21 81mm mortar motor carriage. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to clear Assenois in order to relieve the defenders of Bastogne. Assenois is a picturesque village in Luxembourg, just southwest of Bastogne and northeast of Clochemont. The village consists of a cluster of buildings and a prominent church at the intersections with the road to Clochemont to the south, the road to Bastogne to the northeast, and the road to Marville to the east. North of the village, a road leads up a small wooded hill to the 2-story Château de Huet. On the road to Bastogne in the northeast is another cluster of buildings at the base of a bare hill. East of the village are open fields with scattered trees. To the south, a small creek crossed by 2 bridges on the roads to Salvacourt and Clochemont. And to the west of the village, farm fields on higher ground. This is Assenois today. And this photograph from the Battle of the Bulge Association website shows the approach to Assenois, with the snow-covered bare hill off to the right and the fog-shrouded wooded hill to the left. Historically, this battle took place on the afternoon of 26 December 1944, when a combined arms force including a troop of Sherman tanks, commanded by Lieutenant Charles Boggess, cleared the village of Assenois. The spearhead of Patton's 3rd Army broke through the German lines, with the Sherman tank Cobra King making contact with engineers from the 101st Airborne Division holding the Bastogne perimeter, and thus breaking the siege of Bastogne. The tanks were from the 37th Tank Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Creighton Abrams, who would later have a famous class of tank named after him. Observation is good over the open fields, broken only by the buildings and low ground along creek lines. The chateau offers commanding views of the road and village, and there is some dead ground where the bridges cross the creek on the road to Clochemont. Other than the dead ground, there is not much cover or concealment in the area. The wooden village buildings offer concealment to infantry, but little cover. The wooded hill also provides concealment to infantry and vehicles. While the area is crisscrossed with small frozen creeks, the open ground is the real obstacle to movement. Key terrain includes the village itself, Bear Hill, and the chateau on Wooded Hill. Each of these locations can control movement along the road. The main road through the village forces infantry and vehicles to bunch up and cross predictable points and fire lanes. However, the open fields left and right of the village provide more open avenues of approach for vehicles. The Germans are defending Assenois as the outer cordon of their siege of Bastogne, isolating the airborne defenders of the town. We have no information on their likely strength or composition. Historically, the village was defended by the 39th Fusilier Regiment of the 26th Volksgrenadier Division. But we must assume Panzers, Sonderkraftfahrzeug half-tracks, and Panzergrenadier infantry may be present. Based on the terrain, the Germans could have 3 defensive positions along the road. The first position in the village, possibly infantry in entrenched positions in the village buildings, with a machine gun nest in the church steeple covering front and flanks. The second position at the clump of buildings at Bear Hill, possibly with Sonderkraftfahrzeug armoured vehicles covering both flanks of the village with ranged fire. And the third position at the chateau, possibly an anti-tank support by fire position with firing platforms such as Panzers or anti-tank guns in the woods, maybe a mortar, and observers and a command element in the chateau. The likely German defensive layout lends itself to a traditional 3-stage linear infantry assault supported by armour. Stage 1. The infantry of 2nd Platoon will cross the line of departure from a forming up point in the buildings near the Clochemont Bridge and assault due north, clearing building by building up the main street supported by the heavy machine gun half-track. The tanks of 1st Platoon will form up in the dead ground near the bridge. Once German panzers are located, they will debouche forward into a hull defilade support by fire position on the company left flank. The 3 tanks of 3rd Platoon will cover the slopes on the company right flank with fire, and the mortar half-track will remain to the rear. The risk at this stage is taking heavy casualties in the initial fight through the village, mitigated by a cautious approach supported by tanks. Stage 2. Once the village is secure, 1st Platoon will move up to a support by fire position on the left to suppress any Germans on the Wooded Hill, while 2nd Platoon assaults the buildings at Bear Hill with fire support from 3rd Platoon. The risk at this stage is enemy fire from the left flank while 2nd Platoon assaults, mitigated by 2 tank platoons providing overwatch and fire support. Stage 3. The assault on the Wooded Hill and the Chateau, by 2nd Platoon attacking from a flank with fire support by 1st and 3rd Platoons. The risk here is an entrenched, heavily defended position in the woods, mitigated by fire support from tanks on either flank. This will be a long fight through against entrenched German infantry with the prospect of heavy casualties along the way. All in all, I expect a tough fight. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. First Platoon in the dead ground, ready to move into a hull defilade support by fire position. Second Platoon in a forming up point in the buildings, ready to assault forward. and 3rd Platoon covering the slopes on the right flank with fire. And so we begin. The village of Assenois. Bear Hill and the road to Bastogne, and the Chateau de Huet on Wooded Hill. But no sign of the Germans. The heavy machine gun moves to set up, and Poole's BAR squad prepares to cross the line of departure. Cruiser's BAR squad fills in behind. Incoming mortar fire.
Move completed.
Kastner puts mortar fire on the church steeple, a possible observation post. Kastner now puts out a smoke mission to screen 2nd Platoon's advance.
Sergeant!
Panzer IV on Wooded Hill. Carroll, on the heavy machine gun, is dead.
Barrage available!
And an artillery barrage available. The Panzer IV is moving off Wooded Hill. Smoke out, and Cruz leads his BAR squad to the left flank. Poole's squad covers from the right flank. The heavy machine gun providing a base of fire in the centre. Cruz goes firm. Time for 1st Platoon to mobilise. Thompson leads his M36 gun motor carriage forward, and 3rd Platoon pushes out the right flank.
Move completed. Team redeployed.
Thompson is hit. Panzers in the creek line. A Panzer V and a Panzer IV.
Team redeployed.
1st Platoon moves into hull defilade positions. Poole is taking heavy machine gun fire from the woods to the east. 3rd Platoon fires back.
Move completed.
Sonderkochfahrzeug 251/16 Flammenwerfer knocked out. First Platoon Headquarters Sherman is knocked out. 1st Platoon targets the Panther. Panther tank knocked out. Fire switches to the Panzer IV. Cruise pushes forward. Panzer IV H 7.5 centimeters destroyed.
Completed.
Target eliminated.
Germans on the right flank suppressed. Pool moves forward. The remainder of 2nd Platoon moves up. Third Platoon pushes up on the right flank in support.
In position. Completed. Team redeployed. In position.
German infantry in the fields.
Enemy spotted.
Another Panzer IV.
Move completed.
The German infantry are eliminated. Parks is receiving Panzerschreck fire. Panzer IV destroyed. 3rd Platoon withdraws.
Enemy spotted.
Parks withdraws.
Team redeployed. In position.
Pool pushes up.
Move completed.
2nd Platoon headquarters and the bazooka move up.
Enemy spotted. Area secured. Area secured.
Cruise eliminates the tank crew and secures the southern part of the village.
In position.
No Germans. Apart from the machine gun nest to the east. More Panzerschreck fire.
Incoming!
1st Platoon withdraws out of range.
Redeployed. Move completed.
Germans in the large buildings at the crossroads.
Enemy spotted. Team redeployed.
Airstrike available.
Team redeployed.
3rd Platoon targets the machine gun nest.
In position.
no remaining German vehicles. But German infantry appear to be concentrated around the church.
Fritz!
Let's hit them with an airstrike.
Unter Beschuss!
Surprisingly effective. Massive casualties from an A-26. If only the artillery strikes were as effective as the airstrikes. But let's put the artillery barrage on the suspected position near Bear Hill. Keep their heads down and dislocate them from the main position. This enables 3rd Platoon to push forward.
Team redeployed. In position, please. Team redeployed.
Off to the west, the Germans are using their own artillery against 1st Platoon. 1st Platoon pushes up. Cruiser squad now assaults forward, and Poole pushes up. Atchison on the heavy machine gun targets the church,
Enemy spotted.
as does Partridge in the half-track.
Team redeployed. Spotted. Move completed.
Moreno from Cruiser squad clears the large building. Howard in the bazooka moves up. Atchison keeps firing.
Sergeant! At the door!
2nd Platoon headquarters moves up to the firing line. Parks and Leaker are dead from a Panzerschreck-shaped charge in the turret. Sonderkofferzeug 251x2 8cm mortar half-track destroyed at the base of Wooded Hill. Sanders and Brown's tank is killed and the tank immobilized.
Conserving ammunition!
It is now a pillbox.
Completed.
With 1st Platoon providing fire support, 2nd Platoon continues to clear the village. Building by building.
Team redeployed. In position. Move completed.
3rd Platoon moves up.
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted. Move completed.
Parks' Sherman is destroyed. German infantry near the church.
Team redeployed. In position.
3rd Platoon moves towards Bear Hill.
Get moving, soldier!
Move completed.
3rd Platoon takes the road to Marvi.
Team redeployed.
It appears the Germans did not have a position at Bear Hill after all. Instead, they had 2 positions in the village. 3rd Platoon pushes up to take the road to Bastogne. And 2nd Platoon continues to clear the last holdouts at the 2nd German position.
In position.
Nailed them!
In position.
3rd Platoon takes the road to Bastogne.
Receiving fire. Team redeployed.
Nailed them!
In position. Move completed. Team redeployed.
The battlefield goes quiet. Third Platoon consolidates with the rest of the company and plans its move onto Wooded Hill. At this stage of the battle, I expect only token resistance.
In position.
The remnants of 2nd Platoon also move up. The chateau remains the final objective.
Move completed. No clear path.
Incoming!
Move completed.
German crewmen in the woods.
Enemy spotted. Move completed.
Pick up your weapon!
Second Platoon enters the chateau
All primary objectives in position.
and secures the final objective. While we are waiting for the final 2-minute clock to run down, let's review friendly forces.
Move completed.
Oswald's command Sherman was knocked out. Murray's Sherman is fine. Brown's Sherman is immobilized. Parks's Sherman is knocked out, the crew all casualties. Thompson's M36 knocked out. Cross in 2nd Platoon headquarters. Poole's BAR squad. Cruiser's BAR squad. The Bazooka squad. Atchison, the sole survivor on the heavy machine gun. Little in 3rd Platoon headquarters. Allen's M24 Chaffee. Woods' M24 Chaffee. Partridge in the M3. Finally, Kastner on the M21 81mm mortar motor carriage.
Team redeployed.
Assenois is ours. The road to Bastogne, open. Total American victory. The battle ended because all victory locations were taken. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. The Americans lost 12 killed, 9 wounded, 3 tanks destroyed, and 1 damaged. The Germans lost 35 killed, 31 wounded, 2 prisoners, 2 tanks destroyed, and 1 captured, and 2 armoured vehicles destroyed. Let's examine the American squads. Hood and Koch killed in Oswald's command Sherman. Brown and Murphy share credit for an armoured car kill. Mulder and Murphy share credit for a tank kill. Murphy is awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge, but Sanders is killed. Parks, Jordan and Alika killed, with McDonald and Fritz seriously wounded. McDonald is credited with a tank kill and awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Fleming killed and Thompson seriously wounded in the M36. Stone killed in 2nd Platoon Headquarters. Sherman killed and Chandler and Hartzell seriously wounded in Poole's BAR squad. Hardin and Pryor killed, with Cruz and Gilligan seriously wounded. Moreno is awarded the Bronze Star, Gilligan and Garofalo the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Carroll killed by a tank shell, and Hampton seriously wounded in the heavy machine gun. Quinn and Barton share credit for an armoured car kill. Abrams killed in the M3 heavy machine gun half-track, a distant relative perhaps. So, what did we learn? Despite being on the defensive, the Germans took 3 times as many casualties, with armour casualties about even. The linear assault worked, as it pitted most of the American strength against only part of the German strength at any one time. This allowed the Americans to build up fire superiority on one German position at a time and so push forward. While the Germans had 3 positions, their second position was not near Bear Hill, but in the buildings east of the church. This was a much tighter defensive layout and gave the German positions much better mutual support. As a result, 2nd Platoon was engaged from the second defensive position on their right as they were still clearing the first defensive position to their front. The A-26 airstrike helped enormously by suppressing the second defensive position while 2nd Platoon completed the fight-through. If only artillery strikes had the same effect. All in all, it was the right decision to have the infantry lead the attack and for the tanks to provide fire support from both flanks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.